Good evening. I now call to order the regularly scheduled session of the Lake Havasu Unified School District for May 14th, 2026. Secretary, please call the roll.
Michael Kerr.
Here.
Evelyn Tinsley. Here. Lisa Roman.
Here.
Matthew Houston.
Present.
David Rush.
Here. We'll now have a moment of silent prayer or private reflection. Amen. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. All right, good evening. We want to welcome everybody to our board meeting this evening. We have a packed agenda, and we just ask that you be patient with us. One of the things we did pull this month was our monthly board awards to make room in our time this evening, so we will pick that back up in August whenever school starts back. And next week is the last week of school, and we know everyone here, especially our teachers, are excited. It's been a great year. We're looking forward to a great meeting this evening, and we are now going to go to spotlights and recognitions. Please welcome Human Resources to the podium this evening. Erin.
Hello. Good evening, President Rose, members of the governing board, Dr. Stone, Mr. Becker, community members, and all of tonight's retirees. Tonight, we're gathered to celebrate the incredible dedication, experience, and lasting impact represented in this room. As we send these outstanding individuals into a well-deserved retirement, we are honored to recognize and celebrate their many years of service, which, by the way, collectively is 171 years of service to our district, and the meaningful difference they have made in the lives of our students, staff, and school community. As you are called forward this evening, please slide all the way down to your left after you've received your award, and stand so we can take a group photo at the end. Our first retiree is Kathy Schuler. Kathy has been the heart of our accounts payable department for the past 13 years, serving as our one and only accounts payable specialist with dedication, accuracy, and care. Often referred to as the Queen, Kathy ruled her role with professionalism, kindness, and a wonderful sense of humor that kept everyone smiling. Beyond her work here, she has made a lasting impact through her active involvement with community organizations such as the Chamber, the Lake Havasu City Parrot Head Club. Kathy, your hard work, laughter, and friendship will be deeply missed. On behalf of the entire district, thank you for all your years of service and for keeping the lights on for us. Congratulations on your retirement. Luann Van Poel. Mrs. Van Poel has been a valued member of Havasu Elementary and LHUSD, teaching for a total of 5 years when including her time as a substitute. During her time with us, she experienced a deeply personal loss of her brother. Through that difficult period, she found strength in the support of our staff and students. This is the moment she shared will not be forgotten. Mrs. Van Poel will be missed, and we look forward to seeing her on campus. We wish her the very best. Lee Nigg. Mr. Nigg has dedicated 26 years to education, leaving a meaningful mark on countless students and staff. Mr. Nigg consistently showed up for students in all areas of school, always willing to lend a hand and support wherever needed. His reliability for students will truly be missed. He shared that one of his proudest moments was seeing his 3 children graduate from LHHS. As he begins the next chapter, we hope he enjoys quality time with his family and many relaxing days out on the golf course. Leanne Stansel. Oh, right behind me. Miss Stansel has dedicated 27 years to teaching. She is the type of teacher that shapes minds, encourages hearts, and makes a difference. She makes a lasting impact on her students, shown as they come back to visit and remember her kindness, warmth, and skill. Ms. Stansel has been a cornerstone in the success of Jamaica Elementary from the very beginning. Her knowledge and pedagogy are top-notch, making her a great role model and mentor for all. Every individual who has had the honor of being part of her career is lucky. She is an invaluable member of our school community and will be greatly missed. Mr. Jim McCabe. During Mr. McCabe's time at LHHS, he has made math accessible, meaningful, and empowering for every student. In special education, he didn't just teach numbers, he built confidence, patience, and resilience. One of his lasting impacts includes creating a placement test that helps incoming high school students find the right resource math class, setting them up for success from day one. His career, creativity, and commitment have changed countless lives. While he may be retiring, the difference he's made will continue to add up for years to come. Thank you for everything. You'll be deeply missed. Cindy Thomas. We are honored to recognize our loving librarian upon her retirement after 25 years of dedicated service to the Smoke Tree community. Her connection to our campus is deeply rooted, as her own daughter attended this school way back in her paraprofessional and crossing guard days. Cindy has faithfully served generations of students, staff, and families. Known as our school historian, she carries the stories, traditions, and memories that make our campus special. We are grateful for her lasting impact. Her legacy will continue through the book vending machine she recently purchased and donated for our students, inspiring young readers for years to come. We wish her the best as she travels the country, spending time with her beautiful grandchildren. Though she is moving on to the next chapter in the Book of Thomas, she will be back to visit and volunteer in Cougar Country. So it isn't goodbye forever, but good luck, and we will see you soon. Shanice Maxwell. Janice is a kind-hearted individual. She puts students before all else, finding things that motivated them. She maintains a calm demeanor at all times, showing great patience even in difficult situations. Janice will always be remembered as our fashionista. She set the standard for dressing to impress. Delano Dixon. Did you show? Oh, okay. After a successful career in law enforcement, Delano came out of retirement to bring safety to our campuses and connect with kids. Delano was able to create systems that will have a lasting impact on both Lake Havasu High School and Thunderbolt Middle School. He is always looking for ways to improve and increase the safety for both students and staff. Above all that, the connections he has made with students have permanently shaped their lives. Sue Blanchard. For the entire life of Thunderbolt, Sue has been the face of our school. She has helped generations navigate roller coaster that is middle school. Sue has had a hand in every student registration for every student that has ever attended Thunderbolt. She's the link between home and school, scheduling team meetings for all students in need and creating the monthly newsletter. Sue is the mastermind who keeps the school covered when teachers are absent and creates the weekly bulletin that keeps us all in line. As the voice of our school, our day begins and ends with her. She leaves a legacy that will be hard to replace. A few of our retirees were unable to attend this evening. However, we would like to thank them for their service. Judy Barrett, Havasupai Elementary, K through 6th grade. Denise McElwain, Havasupai, PE teacher. Greg Mortland, bus driver. We know the work done in a school district would not be possible without the many skilled staff like those we have honored tonight. We are grateful for each of you and your contributions to LHUSD. Thank you and happy retirement.
All right, congratulations to all of our retirees, and thank you for your commitment to this district.
Round of applause. Yeah, come on, folks. 170 years, come on. That's right.
We need you to teach them. All right, moving on. Item 2.2, student achievement. We'll give you a moment, those that are leaving, to step out before we move to our next.
Good job, 171 years.
Yes. Triplets.
All right. All right, we're going to move along now to item 2.2, student achievement. Welcome, Ms. Olson.
Thank you. President Rose and members of the governing board, tonight we recognize Lake Havasu High School music students who qualified for the Northwest Regional Honor Music Festival. So I am pleased to invite Mrs. Schreiber, Director of Bands at Lake Havasu High School, to the podium.
Good evening. On behalf of our high school performing arts and music department, we wanted to thank you for this opportunity to celebrate the musical accomplishments of our students. Thank you for allowing and supporting the out-of-classroom experiences that we like to provide for our students and for supporting music in our schools here in Havasu. When you're involved in musical performing ensembles, there is a lot of learning that happens within that environment as well as beyond the walls of a classroom. And it's truly amazing to witness. I am so grateful to be a part of that. I always say, I have the best job in the world. Yeah. Our high school musicians are accomplishing lots of amazing things this year, and I know all of us could not be more proud of them. In January, thank you. In January, we took a group of band and choir students to travel to Flagstaff to audition for the Regional Honor Festival. We are extremely pleased to announce that we had 8 of those students qualified to perform in the festival. In February, we were excited to host the AMEA Northwest Regional Honor Music Festival right here in Lake Havasu in our Performing Arts Center for the first time in over 20 years. This festival featured about 300 music students from across our region, and we welcomed over 25 visiting schools. Lake Havasu was well represented.
Yeah, that's right.
6 students performed in the Region Honor Band, 1 student performed in the orchestra, and 1 student performed in the choir. Students, when I call your name, please come up to be recognized, and let's form a lineup here. First, performing in the band back in February for our Northwest Regional Honor Festival, we have senior trumpet player Jacob Flagg. Jack Hunt, junior tuba player. Freshman trumpet player Eli Levis. And then we have senior trombone player Gabriela Nieves. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us tonight. But we do have her sister, Grace Nieves, sophomore clarinet player. Last for the band is Paisley Sartin, sophomore trumpet. And then we had the first chair French horn player in the whole region, freshman Mr. Jacob Rowell. Representing the choir and on behalf of Miss Erica Sutherland, who is the choir teacher at Lake Havasu High School, I'd like to recognize Jorge Favela, who is a junior who performed with the choir as well. Unfortunately, they both could not be here tonight. They do have a choir concert happening tonight at 7 p.m. if anybody would like to go support them and see them. So let's give them another round of applause. Thank you.
I also wanted to say I was able to go to the choir or the band concert on Tuesday, and it did not disappoint. They did a really great job. So
That was very nice of you. Thank you so much.
All right, congratulations. All right, next up, item 2.3, student achievement recognition of our Civics Bee finalists.
Good evening, President Rose, members of the governing board. Tonight, we would like to recognize the outstanding achievement of several of our students who recently competed in the Civics Bee, an event that highlights critical thinking, civic knowledge, and a deep understanding of our democracy. I would like to invite Mrs. Andrea Hellert to the podium, please.
Good evening, President Rose, members of the board, Superintendent Stone, Mr. Becker, educators, students, and families. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share a few words on the behalf of the Lake Havasu Area Chamber of Commerce about our involvement with the National Civics Bee. The Lake Havasu Area Chamber is proud to partner with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation to bring this nonpartisan civics competition to our community. This particular competition includes students from the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade to learn more about how government works, to think critically about issues affecting their communities, and to use their voices to propose real solutions to those problems. It's built around a simple but powerful idea. Informed and engaged citizens build stronger communities, a stronger economy, and a stronger future workforce, which is all of you. This year, we are especially proud to recognize the 20 students who earned the highest score on their Civics Bee essays. I want to put a note to, this is the second year that we've done this competition. The first year, we were able to get about 150 submissions. This year, we had over 350. So we're so grateful for that growth. These students, all of the students who submitted essays and who made those top 20, took the time to study, reflect, and write about how civic action can make a difference. That effort deserves to be celebrated, not just because of the competition, but because these students are practicing the skills of leadership, citizenship, and community problem solving. We had at least 2 of our students actually go to our local government, to our mayor, and to our state parks to actually pursue some of their ideas to see if they could do it, whether or not they got the essay competition completed. So that to me is a success. Tonight, we want to recognize our top 3 students. So I'd like to welcome Avery Mezia, who was first place, Cortland Mockridge, who won second place, and Justin Dam, who was third place. These outstanding students get to advance to the State Civics Bee on June 10th, where they'll represent Lake Havasu at the state level. From there, they get to have the opportunity to continue on to the national level, should they win, where the finalists can earn a significant scholarship support, and we're talking up to $100,000 of a college scholarship. So it's pretty significant. So on behalf of the Lake Havasu Area Chamber of Commerce, we want to congratulate each and every student who participated, thank the educators and families who encouraged them, because that's exactly what happened. We had a lot of educators and families supporting them in the schools and at home. And thanking the Lake Havasu Unified School District for helping foster civic learning and engagement. We believe civics education is not just about understanding government, it's about empowering young people to see themselves as leaders, problem solvers, and contributors to the future of Lake Havasu. So congratulations again to our students, and best of luck to Avery, Cortland, and Justin at the State Bee.
All right, congratulations. That is amazing. And I want to say thank you to Andrea and to the Chamber for your partnership. And we are looking forward to, she's like, I'm out of here.
Sorry. No, it's Leadership Lake Havasu graduation
Yes.
tonight, so thank you.
Good night. All right, up next, item 2.4 is Lake Havasu City Education Association. Please welcome Carol Nowakowski.
Good evening, President Rose, members of the board, Assistant Superintendent Becker, yes, okay, community. Because I know there is a certain site here that is anxiously waiting to hear, because I know we are still waiting for our legislators to decide on a budget, because I know the end of the year is here and we have many things to do to wrap it up. Because I know there are many national board candidates making their final revisions before submission on Saturday. I reflected on my thoughts and decided to keep this short. From the perspective of the association, we are ending the year with many wins. And because I promised to keep it short, I will end it at that. Thank you.
Hear, hear. All right, up next is item 3.1, our first public hearing for instructional time model. Ms. Olson. Welcome back.
President Rose, members of the governing board. This is the first public hearing to announce that Lake Havasu Unified School District plans to implement an instructional time model for students in grades 9 through 12 who choose to participate in an online learning option. In accordance with Arizona Revised Statutes 15-808 and 15-901, and as authorized by House Bill 2862, school districts may adopt an instructional time model that allows flexibility in how instructional hours are delivered. This includes the use of remote and digital learning while still meeting all state requirements for instructional time and student membership. Under this model, Lake Havasu Unified School District will continue to offer a remote learning option for high school students through the school's PLP platform. This option is intended to provide flexibility for students while maintaining connections to in-person support. This proposed model will be in addition to the district's existing instructional time model, which already includes opportunities such as dual enrollment and off-campus coursework at the high school level.
All right, we will now have call to the public
Well, thank you.
for this item, correct? For item 3.1, we will now open up for call to the public. Anyone?
Yeah, just on my end, I'm glad the attendance requirements going through there, it does seem to be that we're getting a better hand on having the students actively participating, monitoring it. I know there's some growing pains with the online, and I think this is a good opportunity to kind of get the rails back on it and get it in our hands so that we can improve those scores in that online model. And I think by doing that, you're going to get a better participation and obviously education for those students. So I like this going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agreed. And, you know, the online school or the online platform, there are really good aspects. It does address needs. I mean, there are students who are breadwinners in their households and really do need to be able to work in addition to going to school. We might have circumstances where a teen gets pregnant or, you know, all sorts of circumstances where a student needs to be able to access schooling online. We don't want them to have to choose between fulfilling the other responsibilities and also graduating. And so this is a method of accommodating those needs. Mm-hmm. But over the years, it has felt like it's become a way for kids to get a high school diploma without getting a high school education. Mm-hmm. And so I do appreciate that we're going to rein that in by requiring more participation, where they do actually have to log in and have an accounting for their time, and that does make me feel better. You know, on graduation day, we do want that diploma that they receive to mean something.
Yeah.
And a special thank you to Mr. Becker, the administration at the high school, and the administration of Havasu Online. We've worked really hard this year to come together many times to talk about what the future of Havasu Online can look like.
And I just want to say thank you. You and I and Mr. Becker and myself have had several conversations about Havasu Online and how to improve. You know, there has been some conversation of just rolling it back and getting rid of it. I was not totally in support of that because there are families that this supports and it is needed. But also it's necessary that we are holding those students accountable and making sure that they are receiving the proper education. So thank you for your work
Yep,
on this.
absolutely. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you, Ms. Olson. All right, at this time, we will now move to item 3.2, our call to the public. Whenever you come to the mic this evening, if you signed up for call to the public, you'll come to this mic here. And please state your name for the record, and you have a total of 3 minutes.
Kara Schmidt?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kara Schmidt, and I'm a former Lake Havasu Unified School District student. I grew up in this community, and like many of you, I want what is best for our youth, both for their personal growth and their future success. Over the years, we have all had to navigate significant changes in an ever-evolving educational environment. In 2021, my family made the decision to move back to Lake Havasu so our children could grow up with a strong sense of community and connection, something this town has always represented to me. Unfortunately, they can't be here tonight. One's at ballet and one's at baseball. So I am here today to propose that the Lake Havasu Unified School District allow Empowerment Scholarship Account students, otherwise known as ESA, to participate in district athletics and potentially even elective courses, which I did see on the agenda. I wrote this prior. Several school districts across Arizona already do allow ESA students to participate in these opportunities. Under existing Arizona law, traditional homeschool students, those that are operating under an affidavit of intent to homeschool, already have the right to participate in district sports. Given that ESA students are recognized as students of the state of Arizona, I respectfully ask why not extend that same opportunity to them. ESA students are part of a state-recognized program that requires multiple layers of approval and ongoing compliance with specific educational requirements, arguably more oversight than traditional homeschool arrangements. Yet currently, these students are excluded from opportunities that foster teamwork, discipline, leadership, and community belonging. As parents, we recognize that a funding gap does exist when students are not fully enrolled in the district. However, it is very important to note that a traditional homeschool student that's currently allowed to participate in district athletics does not generate any funds for the district. ESA students, by contrast, contribute approximately 10% of their state funding. My proposal is to help offset this gap, which you already have on your agenda, is to offer athletic participation in elective courses to ESA students at a higher participation rate than those in the district. This approach creates a win-win. It gives our children the opportunity to participate, belong, and represent the community in which they live, while also allowing the district to recover some of the funding it would otherwise lose. I am hopeful that your consideration, your commitment to putting children first, and your respect for our parental choice will guide this decision towards a positive outcome for our students and community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Farish Prack. I am a wife, mother of 4, grandmother to 1, and a homeschool parent here in Lake Havasu City community. My family moved here in 2022 for a better life for our children. We are not a wealthy family, but we are an engaged family. My husband owns a small business here in town, and much of our family's time is spent at local ball fields, volunteering, coaching, scorekeeping, and supporting the children of this community. I appreciate that the district is working to create pathways for ESA students to participate in extracurricular activities. However, I am concerned that the proposed fee structure may create participation opportunities in theory, but not realistic accessibility for many working families. ESA families often receive significantly less funding per student than traditional public schools, all while still contributing tax dollars to the same system. Yes, ESA families may use ESA funds towards these proposed fees, but those funds are intended to support an entire core education program, including curriculum, supplies, therapies, and enrichment. A fee structure this high could realistically consume a substantial portion of a student's annual education budget for a single sport or class. Other Arizona districts appear to be finding more balanced approaches. For example, some districts utilize lower participation fees, which will enable students to expand athletic and educational enrichment opportunities offered within the district. I strongly encourage the board to explore alternatives such as lower program fees, annual fee cap, and even considering fundraising credits and volunteer offsets. I completely understand the district's responsibility to recover costs and maintain program quality, but I respectfully ask the board to consider whether participation remains truly accessible, because inclusion only works when families can realistically participate. As parents, we teach our children not to exclude others based on differences. That is why it can be difficult for children to understand why opportunities their peers are encouraged to participate in may become unattainable simply because their education is funded differently. Our children are still Lake Havasu children. They grow up here, volunteer here, and look up to the leaders in this community as role models. They are future parents, voters, taxpayers, and community leaders just like you. These programs are not simply extras. They help shape well-rounded, productive members of our community. I respectfully ask the board to continue exploring solutions that make participation truly accessible for ESA families while supporting district sustainability and program quality. Thank you for your time, consideration, and service to all of the children and families of our community.
Thank you. All right.
Brian and Rex Lorella? I probably butchered your last name, I'm sorry. Loricella or?
Loricella.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, members of the board. My name is Dex Lorcella, and I am a homeschooler here in Lake Havasu City. I'm going to be starting high school next year, and it would mean a lot to me if I could be able to practice in the school's tennis tournaments and practices without having to give up my wonderful homeschooling resources.
Hello, President Rose and board members. I just want to say thank you for taking the opportunity to put this on the agenda and think about this. We've been hoping for this for a little while as a homeschool family here in Havasu, and just look forward to hopefully having the opportunity to join the sports programs and extra, I can't think of it.
Curricular activities.
Curricular activities.
Public
Thank you.
speaking.
Right. I didn't write it down, as you can see. But anyways, thank you for your time and consideration on this. We hope that it goes through, and thank you.
All right, thank you. Good evening.
Hello. I'm Sarah Smith. This is my daughter, Ensley. She's accompanying me for moral support. I'm a local homeschooling parent. We're a local homeschooling family. I'm a co-op leader in town. We do a lot of STEM activities, so we're providing a lot of things for homeschoolers that require learning on a group basis. I'm here to also ask your consideration in improving the ESA fee schedule action item. Since the implementation of these scholarships, home educating in Lake Havasu has seen substantial growth. So too has the need for alternative education models and schedules, which you've already been discussing in the capacity in several ways. The district has an opportunity to not only support all the youth in our city, but to generate much needed revenue for public education in this case. Our students perform here, they play, learn, work, volunteer, and grow here just like any student attending a public school. They take pride in their studies, they foster friendships with their peers, and give to their communities just like any student attending a public school. They learn to drive, they fail tests, and face the same growing pains as any student attending a public school. The difference is simply in their learning style and in families choosing what works best for them. A yes vote on this item and staying true to the values of both Lake Havasu families and the school district are not mutually exclusive. Rather, it allows all district students to learn and grow together and to support each other and their community as a whole together. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the next one, I have an address and no name. Firefly would be on the address. Anybody?
Firefly. Okay.
Can you put your name on there for me, please?
I guess I forgot, I'm sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, board, members of the board. My name is Cynthia Gibney. I lead a group called Wild and Free Havasu Homeschool. I come here today not just as a homeschool mom, but as a mother advocating for inclusion of homeschool students using the ESA scholarship. Our homeschool may look different. Our education happens outside of the traditional classroom. We learn through hands-on learning, outdoor education, community experiences, and online classes. We are intentional, and their school choices are well thought out. We think outside the box. However, we are not outside the community. Our families pay taxes, we support local schools, fields, programs, and contribute to the same towns, parks, sports fields, and neighborhoods, along everyone else. Our children are part of this town, small community of Lake Havasu City, a community they should be included in all that you guys have to offer. Sports are more than just a game or competition. Sports build confidence, responsibility, leadership, perseverance, physical health, and emotional health. They create connection, humility, and learn how to lose with strength. These experiences matter. What does not matter is how they are educated or funded. No child should lose opportunities because how funds flow. At the end of the day, homeschool children are still locals. They deserve the chance to play, grow, and connect and represent high school sports in Lake Havasu and our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brittany Millsap.
Good evening.
Hello. Hi, I'm Brittany Millsaps, and I'm an alumni of Lake Havasu High School. Education is not one size fits all. Having educational options is imperative for families because every child learns differently and every family has a unique needs and lifestyle. Lake Havasu is a rural community with essentially one high school athletic program. Unlike larger metropolitan areas, we do not have an abundance of alternative sport programs and extracurricular opportunities. Because of that, we must work together and utilize the local resources we do have to provide wholesome, engaging opportunities for all students in the community. Lake Havasu High School Athletic Program has a long-standing tradition of competitiveness and success, and I know this personally because I was a part of it. My family chose an alternative educational path because traditional school was not the best fit for our lifestyle and our children's needs. Our children are educated through online home-based homeschool programs funded through Arizona's ESA. Arizona is a state that supports educational choice and allows homeschooled and alternative education students to participate in public school athletics under the Tim Tebow law. We are simply asking for clarification, consistency, and equal opportunity regarding participation policies and procedures. The benefits of this partnership are many. This means stronger team rosters, more diverse teams, increased community involvement, and expanded opportunities for students who are eager to contribute and compete. We are advocating for our children to have the opportunity to participate. From my experience, this group of parents is incredibly dedicated, motivated, and ready to be a positive part of this partnership. Our students may learn differently, but we are still tax-paying Lake Havasu citizens who deeply are invested in this community and its future. Educational choice families bring value to the table, and we are asking for a viable, cohesive partnership that enhances opportunities for all student athletes. We truly believe this can be a win-win for everyone, strengthening athletic programs, building character, increasing participation, and supporting the youth of Lake Havasu City. The homeschooled and alternative education community has always been a part of this city, and it continues to grow. Showing that we can work together, create positive, successful partnership would reflect this community's commitment to the well-being and education of all Havasu children. Choosing an alternative education should not limit their opportunities. They are just as deserving and a chance to participate, contribute, and succeed. And knowing that other districts have been able to pass this, I encourage to hope that have this happen for Lake Havasu. And this is Dane, my son.
Hello, my name is Dane and I'm going into 9th grade this year. I love golf and I want the opportunity to represent Lake Havasu High School in our city as part of the golf team. Because we choose a different educational path, there are no other local team opportunities available to me in Havasu. I work hard academically and athletically and I simply want the chance to compete, be part of a team, build friendships, and represent my community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is that it? All right. All right, thank all of you. All right, at this time, item 4.1, consent agenda. I need a motion and a second, please.
Move to approve item 4.1.
I second.
Secretary, if you'll call the vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, up next, item 5.1 for discussion items this evening is cameras in classrooms. This agenda item has been brought by Member Tinsley, and I'm going to turn it over to her.
Perfect. I'm bringing this forward as a discussion item focused on student safety, staff protection, accountability, and transparency. Arizona law does not appear to prohibit classroom video cameras when implemented throughout proper board policy and privacy safeguards. The question before us is whether classroom cameras could provide a more objective and consistent understanding of what is happening inside the classroom while protecting both students and teachers. Many classrooms already contain adults and students carrying phones capable of recording incidents and fragments often without context. A structured district policy may provide a more consistent and objective approach when serious allegations arise, involving student safety, staff conduct, bullying, behavioral incidences, or disputes regarding classroom interactions. This discussion is about whether objective video documentation could help protect everyone involved by reducing false claims, increasing accountability, and improving trust when concerns arise. The goal is simply protect students, protect staff, and give the direct objective information when serious questions arise. So pretty much I would like to see if we could do like a pilot program and break it down into phases to put cameras in classrooms.
All right, thank you, Member Tinsley. At this time, I will open up to the board for discussion.
Yeah, and as I saw this was all brought up, it's a complex issue, right? There's a balancing test here between, as a parent, obviously being able to observe my child in class, log in or something like a Zoom portal to be able to look in and say, oh, there's my son doing whatever. On the other side of that, it does create a pressure in the classroom for the teacher, for the students of this surveillance state, which I also don't love. And so I think we also are in a district with many schools. We're not two middle, elementary, and high school. We have 6 different schools all over the place. Mm-hmm. It would be a large implementation cost to do this. I also have security concerns. Who has access to this? Is there hackability? I mean, people can get into these cameras. Are we going to have people observing our children that we don't want to? And unfortunately, there are offenders who are parents. And so we're giving access to individuals who, they have a kid in their class.
So I wasn't saying to have access to parents or anybody other
Mm-hmm.
than like the designated people
Mm-hmm.
that are for the school.
So
not
basically a record keeping for
a
the
record
school
keeping,
and
yes.
classroom.
And I forgot what it was considered, actually. It's on here somewhere. But yeah, it would go actually in a way for their records
Mm-hmm.
in a way. So
But if we are keeping a record on your student, I believe we have a records request where the individuals could be able to access that.
yes, they could,
Mhm.
but obviously our attorney or whatnot would have to
Yeah.
I don't know if you say redact for the video as well compared to papers, but yes,
Yeah.
if their child was in, say for instance, a fight, yes, as long as their child is in that video, they would have access to that
I
if
mean,
requested.
I don't think even if it was on a legal basis, if your child is in that classroom, we can't, I'd say, limit if they saw it, if they witnessed it, if they have any form of participation. If we start becoming and curtailing, no, you can't have it, yes, you can have it, it just really
Creates a legal issue.
for the district.
The only issue that would be legal is pretty much when it has to do with audio, not for the
Visual representation is also a consideration.
We already have them in some classrooms currently.
We do, but we have them in classrooms where the students are nonverbal, and so we wouldn't be able to take an incident report if something happened and get reliable witness testimony. We also have them in rooms where there's a greater risk of injury. So we have cameras in our gyms, and we have cameras in, is it wood shop, and is there another one? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
The weight
So,
room.
the weight room, that's right. So areas where there's an increased risk of injury, if something were to happen, we want to be able to review and see exactly what happened and how it happened. And then again, we're taking care of our nonverbal students. So we already have those
So it is
spaces
in the
covered.
special needs, is it just one of the classrooms or whatnot for that?
It's in the classroom where the students are nonverbal.
Which would be our STC class.
It's at Jamaica.
Thank you.
That's what I thought.
I was getting ready to call on you to
And
answer
like the
that.
gymnasium makes sense, like there is public access to the gymnasium as well,
Mhm.
like basketball games and things like that.
But it
where
wouldn't
we
make a
have
difference when
individuals.
you're requesting, if something went wrong, it would be still the same process. There's no difference between a classroom.
So let's take this, right, so say it doesn't even have to be an incident. My child
yeah.
is in a classroom and I want to see what happened that day. If I'm a parent coming to the district, you have a recording of my child, give it to me. We're a public entity, just like any report, that is a production of a report, whether it's on a piece of paper or in a hard drive, that is information on my child, that's my child's image. And the parent in me says, the district already deals with a substantial amount of parental interaction, frustrated parents. I think all the teachers can speak to that. Now, on top of that burden, we're having, the parents have the ability to watch them. I resonate with your want to be able to watch our children have reliable footage when that incident occurred with the fight. I really wished we could have had footage other than TikToks or whatever was out on the end that was pushed on Facebook. So we say, no, a bathroom,
Yeah.
or, well, I think it started
Well,
in the
there would never be a
classroom and
camera in the
migrated, regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless. I think the ultimate issue would be that I don't think the benefit would outweigh a lot of the issues that it might create. And I totally feel where you're at on this, and maybe like in the hallway so we can catch incidences or tighten up places where they are public travel.
So we can work together at least on that for maybe putting them in hallways or whatnot, but I do wish it was in classrooms. I see what you're saying, and
Yeah.
obviously you know the legal side and I don't.
And I wouldn't
But
say I
I
know all
also
of it,
don't
so
see the
disclaimer.
as a parent side too.
Attorneys know everything.
There were certain things that did come about,
Yeah.
and I do want people to be accountable for those certain areas. I know at my work, I have cameras to make sure my employees are doing what's right. And if a
Yeah.
customer came in, then we can definitely make sure that things are gonna steer correctly.
And I hear you, and the balancing test of that is, I want to put our faith in our teachers. And I understand there's things that arise and there are incidences and things like that. But the instinct of a governing entity to want to have the thumb on their employees and watch and observe, I think puts a energy and a burden on that employee.
And it
that-
wasn't necessarily to put off to where putting a thumb on an employee. It doesn't
But-
really have anything to do with,
Yeah, and
you know,
maybe it's not
that's-
the instance, but
it's
that
for-
kind is the energy that would be created. They're feeling watched. Am I doing anything
Why
all
would
the time?
anybody have to hide?
Well, are you do you take a moment to look at your phone? Does something happen that you didn't catch? Are you going to be blamed for every instances? Because we're humans, we make errors.
Of
And
course.
And at the end of the day, I do believe our teachers are working hard. I do believe our teachers are doing the best job they can. We've worked now, we've had a very successful year. And I think that the surveillance in the classroom would kind of take us in a direction and our energies in a negative direction rather than a positive. Now, hallways provide an increase in security on things that happen when they're not in the classroom setting. I could be down with that, but I do really quail at the idea of having it in a classroom, watching what's going on. It just puts our teachers, the hair on the back of their neck. Is Big Brother watching me?
It happens. I mean,
but I think at the end of the day, we need
I
to
hear
put
what
our
you're saying.
trust in our teachers.
I've already seen like where we're going anyways in general with each
Yeah.
person and how they feel. So there's no really reason to continue unless maybe we can put them in hallways. That would be nice.
I think that's.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of work.
from what I understand though, we need to be able to update some of those processors and such because it's not fully.
So when I was asking some questions, so the numbers that I had is that it would cost $1.3 million just to get this project off the ground. That would only be video cameras. That would not include any audio. Our current tech infrastructure and our electrical grid would both have to be upgraded, which would be an additional cost because they can't currently support 400 extra cameras, which was what it would amount to if we had cameras in every classroom. And it feels like this creates more problems than it would really solve. I'm not sure if this stems from like a specific incident or if it's just kind of a feeling that we should have more surveillance. But we already have a staff that's trained to take incident reports when something happens. There's usually multiple eyewitnesses and they're trained on how to get to the bottom of what happened. And also the kind of outmoded idea of a principal just sitting in their office all day while school happens. That is not the case. Like your administrators are walking around the school and spot checking and they're in the classrooms a lot. They're a lot more involved than I would say, like definitely more involved on the school premises than I remember when I was a kid. So.
And Eva, I hear and I understand your heart in this because I was a kid who I got bullied. There was times when I gave a report and the teacher didn't see it the way I did, and I suffered for it. But I think even in those situations, and those are terrible situations, and we seek to resolve those as best we can. I think the ultimate balance is that we do have to put our faith and our trust in our teachers. And I do think that the pressure that the in-classroom cameras would put on us, we have gained so much in our district this year. I think we were on a very good direction, and I think that might take us in the wrong direction, just energy-wise, community-wise. So if we want to talk about updating and increasing our abilities in other areas that we do have surveillance, I think that's a discussion we could have. But I think in the classroom, I think it's a non-starter.
Mr. Member Kern, do you have any feedback to this?
No, that's a good stance.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. For me, I'll give my input. I, as well as Vice President Houston, understand where you're coming from on this. And in conversations, whenever you brought this agenda item to me, some of the concerns of what's happening in some of the classrooms. So I totally respect your position. I agree that, first of all, the cost of this is astronomical of what that would look like. But we do have an obligation to bring safety to our school district. So I do think there are things that we can do, such as cameras in the hallways where they are not. We just had an audit, a safety audit done, and we will be receiving that report soon. And so this board has the obligation. But at the same time, I don't want to create an environment that gives hackers access to our students. And we can say that can't happen, but I can tell you, the nation of Iran hacked our Secretary of State's website.
Yeah.
That happened, and it's happened now twice. And so to think that hackers can't access as great as our security team is and our tech team, the state has a great team as well, and they were hacked. And so they're always creating new code to protect. But so that's number one. Number two is I don't want to create this idea to our staff and teachers that we don't trust you. You already have stressful days, And I understand there may be, I'm just going to be honest, the few teachers that are not doing the job and need instruction from administrators. And there's that in every industry. It's not just education. And those folks need to be corrected and held accountable. And that falls on the administrator of our schools. And the last thing that I don't want is our principals constantly, because here's what else this would create, is parents constantly calling the school, I want to see what happened in class today. So-and-so, my son or daughter.
See some of that, though.
I agree, but
You just said it, though. Some of the teachers are not, in a way, the same. You've got some that are just amazing, and you have some that are still trying to get to that amazing part.
Well, and like I said, again, I think it's the balancing test, because
Yeah.
we have this year done a good job, I believe, of promoting from within. And I hope those people that we have promoted are creating an environment where the people that in the community that you are in can come to you. They can say, hey, this is going on, this individual, and I call on you to be leaders, to not lead with a fist, to not lead, but to encourage, uplift, and to help these people improve. And I hear you, but I think the balancing test is, let's lean on our leadership to improve the quality, to address those things, because we have promoted from within, and I hope that culture has been growing here, that communication flows. I know there's instances that we're not going to solve, but opening up the district to a administrative bloat of constant pressure from parents, I don't think at the end of the day that it would be an ultimate benefit.
No, I hear you.
I don't want to downsize your concerns.
No, I hear you. I understand. It's just frustrating when you hear some parents see certain, don't get me wrong, I'm the one who's for cell phones. When you see like a fight break out and a teacher's like, oh, I'm not dealing with this, and goes like this. I'm not that person who would sit there. I'd be like, hey, get on. Hey, guys, you know what I mean? Do something. Or if you have a kid who needs help, no matter what, in a way, I don't want to say they're all online, but they all have a computer. And a lot of the time, not a lot of the time, I take that back. I'll restrict that one. Some kids are not getting the instruction that they should be having. Some of the teachers need to get up and be like, okay, you have a question, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna help you.
And I think we
Rolling of the eyes and like making
Yeah.
kids feel second best is not, I'm seeing different things compared to what other people are seeing. And there's a lot of people who've come and said this.
Yeah, and you are a parent that gets that info from a lot of different things, and I think we are addressing that. We have done a lot this year to focus on proficiencies, to get our curriculum flowing, and I don't believe that we're going to be letting teachers slide like this when their numbers aren't showing. I know some people that are going to be barking up that tree, and so
I sure hope so.
I am hoping that as we move this way, that some of your concerns are addressed by the work that we have already done.
Yeah.
And I think let's pursue that.
Of course, I hear you.
And I can tell as board president, I communicate a lot with our education committee at the Capitol, with other board presidents at other school districts, and I'm watching. You just can turn on the news and see what's happening in some of our districts in the state of Arizona, and we are very blessed in Lake Havasu to have the district that we do.
Yes.
And not the problems that a lot of the other districts have in our state. And so I'm thankful for our teachers, our administrators. We can always strive to do better.
Of course.
And whenever there are issues, I think that we need to make sure communication is happening. I would say every teacher in this room constantly wants to improve because they want to be the best. And so we need, as a board, to make sure that we are providing the essential tools to make sure that is happening, that our administrators are feeling supported as well to implement that. Remember, Ramon, you have anything? All right. All right.
And I want to thank you for being a person that people can bring their concerns to, and you do listen to people, you do listen to community, and there has been some instances, so I thank you for that. And I just don't, I want to hope that you don't feel I'm downsizing your concerns. I just
No,
think
it's okay. Difference in opinion makes the world go around.
Yes, it does.
So
All
we're
right.
good.
Okay.
All right, awesome. All right, any other questions, concerns? All right, awesome. Moving on to item 6.1, Student Achievement ESA Fee Schedule. Lake Havasu Unified School District's fee structure is established in accordance with the Arizona Revised Statute in 15342, 15802, and is designed to reflect the actual cost of provided interscholastic athletic programs and tuition-based coursework with ensuring equity, physical responsibility, and long-term sustainability. The structure maintains broad access to resident district-funded students and establishes cost recovery fees for students enrolled as non-residents through the Empowerment Scholarship Account ESA program pursuant to ARS 15-2402 or as tuition-paying students. I am introducing this agenda item. This is my item. I believe that in a time when we see this competition between public schools and our homeschool families and our ESA families, that we as a district, we have worked really hard as a board to try to set the standard for what education could look like across the state of Arizona. And I believe this is another opportunity to do so by partnering with all families in the Lake Havasu Unified School District community. I believe that that is important because while some of these students may not currently attend our district, their families are paying taxes that do fund our district. And these are opportunities for these families to obtain services that they're currently not receiving. And whenever I sat down with Dr. Stone and we looked at this, and the heart behind this is that we are here to serve all families, not just those that are enrolled. And we want to partner with those families in hopes that you want to enroll your child. But if you do not, we're still here to serve you because your child matters and all students matter in this community. So I'm excited to have this introduced tonight, and I will now turn it over once again to Ms. Olson.
Good evening, President Rose, members of the governing board. It's been 20 minutes since I've been up here, so. All right. Thank you. I've worked pretty closely with Mr. Thomas Eubanks over the last month. He is the athletic director for Mesa Public Schools. The district's proposed fee structure is aligned to Arizona statute and is designed to reflect the true cost of athletics and coursework while ensuring equity, access, and long-term fiscal sustainability. Lake Havasu Unified School District students continue to have broad access with athletic participation set at a maximum of $100 at the middle school level and a maximum of $200 at the high school level. For non-resident ESA students who do not generate full state funding, cost recovery fees are proposed as follows. And again, this is in line with some of the other districts around the state. $515 per sport at the middle school level, $2,050 per sport at the high school level, and for high school coursework, $1,230 per semester for required courses, and $1,435 per semester for electives. These ESA tuition-based fees are consistent with those implemented in other Arizona districts, including Mesa Public Schools, Scottsdale Unified School District, Chandler Unified School District, and Peoria Unified School District. These fees reflect the actual cost of delivering high-quality programs, including staffing, materials, equipment, transportation, facilities, and safety, and ensure we can maintain strong athletic and academic offerings without redirecting funds from core instruction. This model preserves program quality, expands opportunities, and distributes costs fairly based on participation rather than a funding source. I took 3 different sports. I looked closely at football, volleyball, and golf. My children were athletes growing up, and the cost of sports is very expensive. Like, I did not even think, like, wow, we have to pay someone to stripe the football field. It is expensive. So, thank you.
The helmets have to be reconditioned in
Yes.
football every year.
To keep kids safe.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. At this time, I will open it up to the governing board for discussion and questions.
Dave, thank you for bringing this. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for the community. Again, we're the public school. We are meant to be for the public. I played 4 sports in high school. Sports was what got me through education. I probably would not have made it through high school had I didn't have sports. And so simply prohibiting students from participating in that because they choose to educate their kids in a different way, I just can't get behind that. It absolutely is wonderful that we can open this up. My one concern is looking at the fee schedule, and I understand that we are trying to recoup, and we need to stay flush as a school and take care of costs. But just looking, say you have 3 kids in middle school, and you're a family who needs to feed them, and you have to decide, okay, John, you get to play sport this year, but my other 2, they don't because we can't afford it. And it just strikes me as if we're going to do this, I think we as the government agency to the public should bear some of the costs. I understand that they're not at our school, and I guess I say, so what? They're part of our community. And I think literally it's an order of magnitude greater. It's 10 times greater to play a high school athletic if you're with an ESA coming in rather than being here. Does it need to be 10 times the cost? 5 times the cost, reduce it by half. Just give those parents the opportunity to say, hey, you know what, I can actually send my kids and we can play sports. The cost of groceries, the cost of gas, I would rather us cut the cost and see how many we get and say, hey, we can do this or we can't do this, rather than, hey, yep, we're covering all our costs and we only have a trickling. I would rather open it up to the community to have a overwhelming people joining and wanting to be partaking in our sports and in our community and bringing the community together, rather than having a cost prohibited entry level. Because I mean, $515, that's a lot. $2,000 to play a sport, that is a lot for a lot of families. I don't think my family would have been able to pay that. And I think if we're going to do this, I would ask that we cut it in half. Now, I would like to keep track of that and see if is this something that's viable, but I think that we can sustain that for a semester, for half a year, for a year. Let's see if we can open this up to the community. And the best way to introduce someone to join our district is say, hey, come play sports at our school. It's a marketing strategy. Maybe they say, hey, you know what, we love the district. Let's send our kids there. So I am all for this, and I think either way I'm voting yes, but I would ask this board to look at it and say, what are we here for the community? Are we here to recoup cost, or are we here to provide the opportunity for our kids to have athletics? We know how important athletics is to just the health and longevity of our students, the learning when they burn their energy, they have camaraderie, they coaching, the mentorship that you get, I think is invaluable. And as a public entity that is serving our community, I think reducing that cost is the appropriate call.
Well, just as a reminder, I mean, yes, we are charging fees, but this is also, the students who this would apply to are receiving a voucher.
They are.
For
I understand.
$7,500,
I understand that.
They're receiving some money back from, that don't go to our school, right?
I understand that.
So I actually do think it's fair to charge a fee. If we're going to talk about reducing the fee, I guess my request would be that we table this and put it on next month's agenda with specific numbers, just so that we have a chance to really think about the price tag. And then the other thing, well, just one point of clarification. So if you are homeschooling, and I know it gets a little bit confusing because some people fall kind of into both categories, but if you're homeschooling, meaning that you have a homeschool affidavit filed with the county superintendent of schools, this actually does not apply to you. You would pay what we charge enrolled students with our district, so it'd be the $200 for sports. This is for people who do receive those ESA vouchers or have their child enrolled in a private school.
Yeah.
They're not truly, they don't have a homeschooling affidavit on file, in other words. But yeah, if we're going to talk about reducing fees, I think maybe reducing it down to 75% of these numbers is actually a little more reasonable. I do think that the costs associated with the courses, so are you just talking about sports? Are you talking about sports and the courses at high school?
The courses do seem high. I think probably the likelihood is that if you're choosing alternative education, our biggest bringer is probably not going to be those extra courses. Mm-hmm. Their biggest bringer is likely going to be the sports. I think that's really,
or the CTE.
Now the CTE, but those are specialized. I mean, that's probably online with some college tuition courses. Yeah. So I'm more okay with those numbers. it's really the sports for me. I mean, the sports, physical activity, sports, that's the heart of childhood. That's the heart of growing up. At least that was for me. And just, to me, it's like, man, we're making it prohibitive for parents, or we're having to make a parent choose between which child gets to play a sport. You get to play a sport this semester, but you don't. You get to now, and that breaks my heart. I mean, I imagine as a parent having to make that decision, or saying, hey, you can't play sports because we can't afford gas and food for this. I mean,
I think the choice that families make to have their children not go to public schools and everything else, the ESA does cover some of those costs. So to lower the cost of participation in these sports below what the incurred cost is to the district further subsidizes the ESA and detracts from our public schools. So,
and I guess that comes back to what my comment was earlier, is we are serving the public. And the greatest choice you have as a parent is to have the hand in your child's future and the child's education. And I understand, and I hear, you're not wrong. But what I'm saying is that it is better for us to eat some of that cost to the quality and benefit of Lake Havasu for the physical education, sports participation, to produce a better citizen who has been coached, who has camaraderie, who has community. I will take that cost, and I think the district.
But
as
our
a
responsibility
public
is to the Lake Havasu Unified School District.
It is as a board, but that also includes the community, because our students.
It's not to the other schools.
I don't care. I'm not talking.
These
about
are to the families who are paying taxes in this community, so it is to those families.
I'm talking about the students that will interact with our students. I'm talking about the families that are friends and live with our students. I understand there's going to be a little bit of a cost that we bear, and you know what? I think it would be important and beneficial to the community that we do that. We are a community entity. I want a financial analysis on it, and if it comes to the point where we are actually losing too much money on this, we can address it. But like I said, I would rather have it to the point where we are like, wow, we got so many people coming here, this is wonderful. Hey, we need to pull it back a little bit, than say, hey, we're gonna flat cost, no ends bar, and but have a trickling, or basically saying, if you're wealthy enough to come here, come on. Poor people, you don't get sports. And I don't feel I can't get behind it. I don't think that's right. And I think we are a public entity that is here for the improvement of children. And I think playing sports is one of the most important things that we can have our students doing, even more than some of these classes they're taking. Getting out on a ball field, camaraderie, working together, having coaches pour into your life. You were in the SEALs. I'm sure you played sports. I know you.
A great number of the men I served with were not into the sports. I think sports was kind of it wasn't that.
I had many coaches.
We weren't that.
Sports enough. Well, understand, and I know I had many coaches that changed my life, and to giving the opportunity to our community for a reduced cost to allow them to come here, I don't see. Yeah, it's money, but at the end of the day, we're improving our community, and I think we have the finances. Whatever happened with Mr. Murray, we do have finances.
So I've been talking to some of the homeschool families, and they presented this to me about the sports, and then I collaborated with David a little bit. So this would definitely put a burden on some of those families with this cost. So someone did send me this, and they said ESA sports fees for the district students in Arizona vary significantly by district, often ranging from $150 over to $650 per sport, with some districts charging as much as $1,500, and based on local board approvals. As of late 2025, districts like Yuma Union charge $650, while others like Dysart Unified have lower fees, like $150, but they're still paying for uniforms and such like that. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because I've definitely been going back and forth with them.
So I would like to ask Assistant Superintendent Becker, if you could just kind of go over the analysis of the cost for a student to play athletics. That way, I would really like us tonight to make this decision, because these families need to prepare for next school year, and we are already in the month of May. So I personally am not willing to pass this on. I have every hope tonight that we're here to work as a board and have this discussion and make this decision this evening. So ask the hard questions, and we may not always agree on certain things, but we're here to work together and do what is right for kids. We're here to serve children in Lake Havasu City, and whether they attend the school district now, we cannot tell families, we want you to be a part of our community. We want you to bring your children to our district, and then say, sorry. So, yeah.
I also want you to know that just because they get vouchers and such, it doesn't mean it's a free-for-all. They're actually using those vouchers for homeschool material and supplies and whatever else that is. So it's not like as if, hey, they got this just because they got like $7,000, they can pay $2,050 for this.
But that is the way it is. I mean, they're diverting, you know, at their own choice, they are diverting funds away from the public school system that we would otherwise receive and educating their children in a different system, which is absolutely their choice. But then these are the choices that they are making as a consequence of that choice, right? Do they want their kids to play sports? Is it important enough to them to budget in order to do that? If they want to pay the $200 for the sports, they can enroll their student. You know, that's always an option too. So we're not really taking options away from parents. We're not saying you now have to pay this. We're just saying this is the fee schedule because this is what it costs our district to run those programs. Our costs are the same whether they participate or not.
I agree.
And so, you know, things like insuring, paying for transportation, paying for staffing, you know, all of those things add up. And so are we willing, again, I think Mike put it really well, like, are we willing to subsidize that even further?
And I would say yes. I think the benefit to I mean, we get $0 from them if they don't play sports at all. We get $0
still
from
pay
them if they
taxes.
just, just go away.
And I would like to point out that our homeschool students that file through this county superintendent's office, they are not paying, they're paying the $200, and we're not getting any additional funds from those families either. So there's no difference between those families and what we're looking at doing this evening. So I just want to point that out, that we can't point at one group and say, hey, you're about to cost our district a bunch of money, while the other group is doing the same thing. So
but the people who homeschool,
so look, we can't,
hold on.
we can't, no, that it's not, we can't point fingers at one group and then allow another group to do the same thing. That's not right, and we're not going to do
I'm not pointing fingers, but I am pointing out a difference.
No, I
that
understand
homeschooling
that.
is different in the sense that they are not taking the $7,500 in vouchers. So in other
I
words,
understand that.
they're not already
What
receiving
is-
money from the state that they would then allocate towards their priorities. So their priorities might be
Understand that.
doing a curriculum or an online program, or paying for sports, or some combination of all of those things. That is, they have chosen to receive that money and then budget it accordingly. We have our budget and our expenses, and we should be budgeting and thinking through expenses in terms of our public school students, because we are,
Yep,
as
we
someone
are
else said, we are
fiduciary
the
of the board.
governing district of a public school
yes, we are.
system. So this needs to be our priority.
And I do not think this is cost prohibitive with the amount of individuals that might be joining. I think that the burden would, and I'm fine with starting with 75%. I would settle
No, I
on
think that's fair.
75%.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a reduction that needs to happen here. This is a substantial
Agreed.
number. In our community, that is a substantial number. And I would rather have over participation and us look at this after a semester and say, is this viable? And say yes or no. And if it's no, I'm a fiduciary of this district. If it's no, I will immediately change this cost. We can bring up these fee schedule whenever we want. I would rather have a lower cost of entry and have to increase to bring the books into correction and draw people into our district. I mean, we could literally look at it as marketing. We are drawing these families into our district. If you're at a private school and you're getting ESA, you got to pick your kid up, you got to get them to practice. How many times are you going to do that and say, you know what, it's easier, let's just send them to public school. So we are introducing more people to our district, more cooperation in our town, with our community, and I think that is a worthy cost to incur on the district. And I do think that is a benefit to the district. So I think we're at kind of a point, I would move to approve this with the amendment of a 75% of the proposed fee schedule.
Can I add one piece?
Yeah, and I have a couple questions
Okay,
before we move forward.
so looking at estimated cost for a football team with 50 participants across varsity, junior varsity, and freshman levels. Dividing up the costs among all 50 athletes, it is a approximate cost of $2,400 to play football. So we are already subsidizing with the 2,000. Pardon? The football team raises money. Is that deducting the money? This is just head coach stipend, transportation, officials, helmet reconditioning, shoulder pad equipment replacement, uniforms, stadium lights and utilities, field maintenance, athletic trainers, security, AIA fees, administrative and facility operations support.
I would like to know,
So-
based on his question, how much of the money that's being raised by athletics goes to help cover some of that cost?
Well, this isn't a call to the public at this time, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Becker, could you answer that?
So when it comes to the team's fundraising, they do, for the most part, pay for new jerseys and things of that nature. There is no way the district can keep up with that.
Right.
Athletics is near and dear to my heart. I wouldn't be sitting in this seat if it weren't for athletics.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I started pre-med in college. I worked my first basketball camp and made the decision I need to be around kids, and that's what steered me in this direction. So this is near and dear to my heart, and a lot of people, I came from a college town in Wisconsin. I made more as a head freshman coach in Wisconsin than I made for a head varsity coach here in this town for 12 years. So the coaches that are coaching are not getting rich by that by any means whatsoever. To address Member Tinsley's referencing Yuma, one of our biggest costs at the high school is transportation. We are not on a level playing field with everybody else across the state. Yuma travels across town. Yuma High School plays Cibola. They drive 10 minutes across town. Cibola drives to Gila Ridge, maybe 20 minutes outside of town. Their furthest trip, they traveled to San Luis, which is about 30 minutes. They all play each other and then travel to Phoenix maybe a couple times a year. To put a dollar amount on the bus that leaves the high school, and I have quite intimate knowledge about the high school. I've been there 25 years. Half of it was coaching. On average, every time a bus pulls out of that parking lot to go to Phoenix is about $1,200. That's probably going up because all of us fill our gas tanks every single day or once a week, and we know what pain that is. So that cost is going to go up for us as a district. So comparing us to a Yuma, we have to be careful with that. The transportation costs, like I said, we're not on a level playing field. And when you look at a high school football team and you look at the numbers, and there's a drastic difference between the middle school and the high school. And the middle school is about 5 times what our students pay at this moment. They don't offer the same number of teams or sports that the high school does. So there is a vast difference between the high school and the middle school when it comes to that. The middle school, and it's just like a college, the most expensive team to run on a college setting is football.
Yeah.
Football at the college setting also pays the bills. That's not how it works in high school. What we bring in and with people in the stands does not break even with football. We have 3 football teams that we provide for our kids in our district. So that bus leaves a minimum twice a week. So if varsity is at home, JV and freshmen are on the road. When the varsity team leaves on a Friday, there are 2 buses leaving. So you're looking at just under $3,000 probably next year when you're talking gas increase. Leaving the parking lot, they play 10 games, 6 of them are on the road one year, and the others are at home, and then we flip-flop. And we don't get a choice. The AIA places us in our member districts, and that's who we have to play. So is it that expensive to play basketball? Probably not, but we also, like I said, football carries the other programs. So it does bear some burden on that. I talked about, it was mentioned, reconditioning of football helmets. We pay between $10,000 and $15,000 every year. The district pays that, not fundraising from kids. Fundraising from kids is the extras. That's the uniforms, that's the travel gear that they vote on as a team to purchase. And that's where those monies are spent. We do not rely on kids to raise funds to pay for coaches, to pay for transportation, or any of the other things that were on that list. It is specifically the extras. Again, on football, and I keep using that as an example, to buy a home set of uniforms and an away set of uniforms, you're in the $30,000 range of purchasing uniforms. Each kid that steps on that field, Ms. Olson said, has about $2,000 worth of equipment. Most people only see Friday night and the Friday night lights, but we also have 2 other teams that we fully equip with these same equipment, and it's to keep them safe. When we recondition helmets, we have a deal going with our Rydell rep, I think that's who we still work with, who automatically fails a minimum of 10 helmets because they're going to fail, and we can afford to replace 10 helmets at a time rather than 3 years down the road. We replace all 99 helmets at the cost of about $400 to $500 per helmet. So the fees here they're sticker shock, but there is an expense that people really don't understand what it takes to run our athletic program at the high school. The middle school doesn't travel as much, but the high school, it is a big burden and it's a big bill. And we do rely heavily on tax credits. And we are going to have to do something here in the near future with tax credits and make stronger pushes with that because of the cost of things going up. So hopefully I've answered most of those questions.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Olson, do you have any additional
I do
information?
not. Thank you, Mr. Becker.
All right, further discussion?
Well, I think I would, I still like the 75%. I think if that's a fair to start, but I would put on there in the amendment that we do a cost analysis at the end of the first sports season to see if this is viable. Yeah.
So I would warn you, I'm not a voting member by any means, but I would warn coming out and just saying 75% of what's proposed here without looking at the total cost. And then after you look at it after a season, now I feel like you're making a decision and now you're picking and choosing sports also.
Because in football season, first one to go, right?
And if we do that in the middle of a season, my favorite season is basketball season. Basketball season stretches from October 31st-ish all the way through February, and now you're making a decision in the middle of a season as well.
That is a fair point.
Well, if we wanted a little more time to look at numbers, but we didn't want to put it off too much, I mean, maybe we could have a special session next week and just have this as the only item.
So we don't really have time
Well,
if they
yeah,
want to
and it-
sign up for sports, is the
Okay.
thing.
Okay. Well, if we're, so.
I'm good. I will accept this as is. I think that we should be considering and look at it. Okay, is this prohibiting families? And I think if it is, we need to readdress it. But I do want to have this happen and get our parents and families moving in this direction to start incorporating. And it is at our cost. And like you did say, we're not saying, oh, you have to pay. We're opening the door to you. We are opening. And as you said, if you have on record with the superintendent, you're paying the school cost. So I encourage you to go do that. Maybe we open up with our saying, hey, show people how to go get that so that they can pay the lower cost. But
And for me, it's not just about, I'm going to ask Ms. Olson to come back. One more time. For me, it's not just about sports, but families. We have an amazing CTE program at our high school. I also sat down with Ms. Olson to create this. Families, if your child is struggling, let's say with math, and you want your child to take a math class at the middle school or at the high school, you're able to do that. We are opening this up not just because of athletics, but because we have amazing educational opportunities in this district, and we want you to be able to take those, as well as our CTE programs. And so I would like you to share what we have to offer just in some of our CTE programs that are incredible and that families could have. Thank you.
We offer 17 amazing CTE pathways. Do you want
You don't
me to
have to name all of them.
Oh,
No,
good.
no, no.
Thank you. And we just passed we added another one
We did.
this evening. So yes, I mean, they're amazing. There are amazing opportunities that we can offer all of students in Lake Havasu. We just honored civics students. We just honored music students. In the past, we've honored CTE students, mathletes. So we do. And yes, sports are amazing. We raise 2 athletes in this district as well. Sports are incredibly important, but a classroom experience, the pathways that we can offer this district, that a homeschool, they just simply don't have the resources to do that we can partner with them, so.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, if there's no.
So I have a question really quick.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I understand. So did we pick football in general because that was the most expensive sport? Like for the 2050?
That's for sports and
For
for
all,
football.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying some of the other
Oh, I see
sports
what
are
you're
less money.
Yeah, but
So-
you have to keep the whole sports program funded, and the bus is the same bus for whatever.
I feel like we have bus issues no matter what.
Yeah, which we got somebody maybe going to help us with that. But at this, hearing Mr. Becker, I mean, it is.
It's just
I
hard
don't
because
want
we
to put
literally had a
our-
parent just come to us
we
right here
understand.
and said, this is going to be hard, but they
I
would really
understand.
like to be
Yeah.
able to do this.
And I am on this board, and as we go forward and we're looking at, I want the numbers on how many are able to do it. And if you can't do it, please let us know, because I
And I
going
do
forward,
think
we're going
there,
to look at this cost and see whether or not we can reduce it.
and I think we look at fundraising opportunities as well for those families. I think that is valuable for our teams, and so.
Can they do volunteer times too, or no, for an exchange? Because that was something that one of the parents
Yeah,
brought up.
no,
I don't
you
know if
can't-
that's
you-
a thing.
You can't do that.
Okay.
All right. At this time, I will close this item for discussion and bring it for a vote. I need a motion and a second to approve item 6.2. Item 6.1, and I'm going to make the motion to approve as is, and I just need a second.
I second.
All right, call for the vote, please.
Michael Kern?
Yes.
Evelyn Tinsley?
Yes.
Lisa Romo?
Yes.
Matthew Houston?
Just with comment that I want to address this as we go forward, to look into if we can reduce this cost for families, to bring them on board. Hearing the concern from my superintendent, who knows this district, who knows sports, as a fiduciary of the district, I do need to take that in consideration. So families, I hear you, I understand you, and I want to open this up to you. This is a door that we're starting with. That doesn't mean this is the only time it's going to open, or if we can't improve it. With that said, yes.
And I would like to explain my vote. We have the opportunity tonight to partner as a community in a time when communities are divided, especially over the ESA discussion. We have the opportunity to show Arizona that public education and homeschool and ESA families can partner together and do what is best for kids. And I'm excited tonight that we are joining other school districts in the state of Arizona that have done that same thing. And so I vote yes. And it passes. Thank you. All right. Moving on to item homeschool families, ESA families, thank you for being here. All right, item 6.2, business services. Good evening, Erin.
Okay, good evening. I will make this quick because I know all of you are waiting patiently to find out the announcement of Oro Grande's principal. I'll talk fast. No, I'm not going to read it. Okay. In May, Arizona school districts are required by law to revise and true up their budgets to ensure expenditures are properly aligned within the correct budget categories. Page 2. Tonight's presentation is part of that required budget revision process. The purpose of the revision is to accurately reclassify expenditures between M&O and unrestricted capital outlay. We are moving $2.8 million from M&O back to capital outlay where it was originally funded from the state. This adjustment, you can go to page 8. Yeah. This adjustment better aligns expenditures with allowable uses under Arizona school finance guidelines. The revision supports continued planning for district facilities, technology, transportation, and equipment needs. This is not a reduction in district resources or spending authority. Our overall budget capacity remains the same. It's not changing. The only change is where expenditures are being placed within the budget category, and the district does not expect any over expenditures in any funded area as a result of the revision.
All right, is there any questions from the governing board? All right, and if not, then at this time, I need a motion and a second to approve item 6.2.
I move to approve item 6.2.
I'll second.
If you'll call the roll, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. In the moment the other half of you have all been waiting for, item 6.3, Governing Board Oro Grande Classical Academy Principal Recommendation. This evening, we are pleased to recommend Christina Musselman as the principal of Oro Grande Classical Academy. Christina is a proud Lake LHHS graduate, class of 2001, and has dedicated her entire 22-year educational career to the Lake Havasu Unified School District. She has served students at the elementary level as a first grade teacher, reading interventionist, instructional mentor, PLC lead, and teacher leader. Her commitment to literacy, student achievement, and relationship building has made a lasting impact across our district. Christina earned her National Board certification in literacy in 2011 and renewed her certification in 2020. Less coffee. She has been recognized as an Arizona Master Teacher, LHUSD Teacher of the Year, Mojave County Teacher of the Year, Arizona Rural Teacher of the Year finalist, and Arizona Teacher of the Year finalist. Throughout her career, Ms. Musselman has demonstrated strong leadership through mentoring teachers, facilitating professional learning, leading family workshops, and supporting national board candidates across Arizona. She has also created opportunities for students through campus clubs, leadership initiatives, and programs that promote kindness, character, and student engagement. These roles have prepared her to transition into administration. Yes. Christina holds a bachelor's degree from UNLV and master's degree from NAU. Her dedication to students, staff, and the LHUSD community make her a great fit to lead Oro Grande Classical Academy, and I personally recommend Christina Musselman for approval as principal for the 2026-2027 school year. All right, so I will open this up to the board for discussion before a vote.
Well, just very quickly, some choices up here are hard to make and some are incredibly easy, and this is an incredibly easy one.
Yes, it is.
I agree with you. Definitely.
Yes.
All right, at this time, Secretary, if you'll call the, first, I want to make this motion to approve item 6.3 and name Christina Musselman as the next principal of Oro Grande Elementary, and I need a second.
I'll second.
I third.
If you'll call the roll, please.
Yes.
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 I want to explain my vote, please. We made a decision, this board, that we wanted to promote from within. We believe that we have amazing leaders in this district, and we fixed what the issue was as far as people not applying to become administrators and to move on to the next level. And Ms. Musselman, whenever we came on, took the opportunity to sit down with myself and other board members and have the tough conversations about partnering and working together. We didn't agree on everything, but she is an amazing leader in this district, and I'm very thankful for the relationship that we have built together professionally to do great things for kids. And that is her heart, to put children first and to partner with families. And so tonight, I vote yes. Congratulations. All right, moving on to item 7.1, Superintendent, Assistant Superintendent Becker.
Assistant, yes. Thank you. Christina, congratulations.
Yes.
Very well deserving. This time of school year is a fun one for administrators. It's fun for all staff. There's a lot of celebrations that take place and recognitions. Last week, there were 121 high-achieving elementary students who were recognized at their Evening of Excellence. Miss Barney's crew didn't fall far behind, honoring another 101 junior high students at their Evening of Excellence. And then on Monday of this week, LHHS held its Evening of Excellence, where the graduating seniors were the recipients of $2.1 million in scholarships. A large portion of that comes from our community scholarships, and our community is so awesome in giving back to our kids, and want to thank them for that as well. And then next week, in my eyes, is the greatest. It's graduation. It's the end for not just high school teachers that are teaching kids, but those kids got there because of you elementary people sitting here, and the junior high teachers. Thank you.
All right. Item 7.2, governing board members, if you have anything. Member Rahman?
Yes, I was able to go to the counselors advisory meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I have some good news to share from them. Some of it was embedded in the consent agenda, but we did add a new class, a sports medicine class that's hands-on, and they're going to be working with current staff to learn that skill. That's going to be offered at the high school. And then also we have an internship program in partnership with AZ at Work, and that gives students paid during their internship, and then they also earn credit. So it's a win-win, and then they are able to partner with local companies. So construction's a big one, graphic design, HVAC, law and public safety, welding. And so they get paid to learn, and it's a way of us developing some homegrown talent. So I didn't want that to get kind of lost in the shuffle. I know there's a lot on tonight's agenda. And then the other thing, the counselor's goal for the year was to reduce chronic absenteeism, which they define as 18 plus absences. It was at 40% last year, and they were able to reduce it all the way down to right around 20%. So I'm really proud of that.
Member Tinsley?
Oh, yes. So there's been some talk throughout the community, and I just wanted to make something clear. There is no current contract between the city and the school district for anything for ball fields, and that's for current talking, so.
All right. Anything else? All right. First, I want to take a moment this evening to close to honor Mr. Becker. The next week will be his last graduation as the principal of Lake Havasu High School. And he will be coming here permanently as the assistant superintendent. And Miss Barney will be stepping into that role. And so I just want to take a moment to thank you for your service as the principal to this community. And you're going to do amazing serving in your new role as assistant superintendent. And Miss Barney, you're going to do amazing as the new principal of Lake Havasu High School. And we are very blessed. So would you please give them a huge hand?
Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to thank all of our teachers for an amazing year. You have been incredible. We are thankful for you. Enjoy your summer with your families. Take vacation, go do fun things, make new memories, and we will see you next school year. Moving on to item 8.1, I make a motion to adjourn, and I need a second.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Have a great night. Meeting adjourned.